Well, good day, everybody. This is Danny Halmo, and this is EVs Forever. This is podcast number 4 in our series. This one is entitled Evidence of an Afterlife. No matter what your higher power may be to you, one thing is certain. 81% of the American population believe that there is one. But I'm not here to debate that either way, or if it is a Caucasian male, an African or Asian female, or a colorless, odorless blue mist. And no matter what it says in the #1 bestseller of all time, everything in it at times seems like a bit of a stretch and takes a certain degree of suspension of disbelief to swear on any of it in court. But like God, there is another theoretical element that some have believed in for centuries as well. But only if it does exist can it be part of scientific proof positive that an afterlife can also be possible. Ever since ancient times, some people have believed in an element called ether, aether, or luminiferous ether, that was defined as a free-ranging theoretical substance in physics that assists in the transmission of electromagnetic waves such as X-rays and light, similar to the way that sound waves are transmitted via pliable media such as air. Ether was alleged to be weightless, frictionless, transparent, odorless, colorless, invisible, undetectable physically or chemically, and supposedly permeates all matter in space, not unlike the properties of gravity, which also goes through everything and is also difficult to detect. But you just know it's there. Ether is also considered a space that contains and holds or connects us to intuition, spirit, or other realms and planes. Even though the Michelson-Morley experiment in 1887, which was designed specifically to detect the motion of the Earth through the ether, neither proved nor disproved that there was no such effect, no matter how hard they tried. Considering the technology available to them at the time, it only proved that it was undetectable to them then and there, or now. Nonetheless, it shall remain theoretically possible for the purposes of this monologue. Another less theoretical and so therefore known laws of physics does exist, however, that being the law of conservation of energy. It states there is only a finite amount of energy in the universe and that it can neither be created nor destroyed, and it can never actually be lost, since it only changes forms. This perhaps lends foundation to the case for the possibility that some religious beliefs may at least be inadvertently connected to scientific law, since most every sentient being runs on a measurable low-voltage electrical current. The next level of progressive logic takes us to a place where one wonders what happens to that energy source when it stops catalyzing the host organism. According to the law, it must change forms and move on to somewhere else, since it no longer catalyzes the host organism. This becomes where scientific factology meets religious theology, as the electrical energy, or soul, leaves the body and must move on to the next theoretical medium. This may explain the existence of an afterlife for those who conduct themselves according to the oldest and #1 bestseller of all time. Could the ether really be an afterlife, or a mystical magical storage battery where souls, spirits, or angels exist in a free energy form to infinity? God is supposed to be everywhere, right? Maybe ether is bliss, our heaven. It might be nice to think so. Therefore, assuming this is the case, in God particle science, it isn't much of a stretch to conclude that there may be an enlightened few who are more sensitive to this unmeasurable, unprovable frequency, and therefore may possibly be more receptive to contact from that other world. Regardless of religious affiliations, beliefs, or scientific skepticism, we've all heard about the possible existence of saints, spirits, souls, and angels, or by people who have been visited by them, or urban legends about people who claim to have done what some perceive as miracles. This may or may not include reincarnation, autistics, savants, pastors, saints, magicians, and psychics, people who profess to have scientifically immeasurable extrasensory perceptions or extremely over-functioning talents in a specific area such as music, math, or magic. And some police departments have enlisted psychics to help solve crimes. Like a scene from Ripley's Believe It or Not, another concept that may be impossible to prove. But where do these people get their intuitions from? Like Einstein or Tesla or Darwin or Newton or you? Clearly, if ether did exist, a logical conclusion may be that this is their possible source. And if so, then progressive logic would dictate that it communicates more directly with those who are more receptive. So next time you might think you are feeling a special presence, don't think you are losing it. You might have just been finding it instead. This message has been brought to you by the author of my book, The Ninja Mutant History of Electric Vehicles, and all content is based on subject matter found within it. It is currently available on Amazon in Kindle or paperback form, and I appreciate you stopping by. I'm Danny Halmo, and this has been EVs Forever.